What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. I want no other. Don't want another. This is all I'll try. We'll ever be. All right, good morning, guys. Oh, there's only 2 of you so far. 4, 6, hit it. Bam, bam, bam. Nope, 5. Get 4. God damn it. 7. What? Hey, Misha. 8. I got it. 5. Fuck a duck. 6. Ha ha. 7. Oh, 6. Fuck a duck. Hey guys, good morning. Happy to see you. It is a beautiful rainy day. I am in bed with the heat on. My favorite room, dark, and ready for the night. Let me turn this light out because I want to be even more relaxed. I am in the dark today. You are in Fluff's fall cave. It is. It's actually pretty green and red in here. So the walls are pine and hunter green with like a seafoam trim. Praise Jesus, cheddar loves you. Fred 13.5. God damn it. I love it. My cat is Sammy. Hey, Emperor. Good morning, loves. Thank you for hanging out with me on Monday. I know. Hey, my reel. When you guys get an opportunity to, you know what? I'm not gonna make you guys do any fucking homework. Why won't this thing go on? There it goes. Okay. Actually, I should not put everything red. Hey, Father Mark. Good morning, Pater. I will have a wonderful day, sir, because you told me to. It's better than doing like that whole, what's the thing called, sir? I get really tired of this thing not doing what I want it to do. Why? Well, there we go. Okay. Now, we are back to debating me on what makes me, hey, Shine! That's my solar twin. We have hit like a little bit of a rough road with these Christians. 2 weeks or 3 weeks of rapture that never came to pass. And a lot of arguing. Here is the thing. Let's be funny. What if the rapture actually did happen? What if it did? And no one makes it? What if it does? What if the rapture is on the 4th of November, right? I'm throwing out a random fucking number. I don't believe any of this shit. What if on the 4th of November, this year, it all comes to a fucking head? Will one Christian make it? If an atheist can be a sinner, what the fuck? No! God damn it, Father Mark! Oh my god. No, no. Okay, you guys have to. It, oh, that would be an awesome birthday gift. No, Father Mark, stop threatening us with heaven. Nobody wants to. Father Mark, I need to talk to you real quick. Come here. Come here real quick. I need you to
Feel
do.
like a child who's just gotten dragged down the hallway by their ear.
No,
Come
no,
here.
Papa. I just grabbed you by your robe and said, come see, come see. Okay, so here's the thing, Father Mark. Help me. Help me. Is
Okay.
it correct that the non-Israelites breastfeed the Israelites in heaven? Tell me this is not true. Tell me this is not true.
Where did you hear that from?
Oh, thank giddy my giddy aunt named Penelope. What do the non-believers do in heaven? How do they feed them?
You you don't need to eat. You're dead.
Oh, stop sassing me.
No, I'm
Oh,
just confused. First of all, nobody's going to be breastfeeding anybody.
thank God. I did that. It was okay for the time being, but on a random, let's just do it while going to the store trip, no. Mm-mm. You know?
Yeah, I don't know. That's weird.
Okay, just want to make sure that we are well aware of the fact that breastfeeding is not a thing. I don't, do you understand? I've been asking, I've been begging to make sure that is not a real thing. Everybody's like, you're breastfeeding. I don't want to breastfeed in heaven. Um, if I saw you in heaven, I don't want to know if you come with lanolin cream. So thank you, Father Mark, because I got Deborah letting me know that breastfeeding is definitely a thing, and I'm like, okay, I don't want it. And then I got other people who are like, well, you won't get to experience. And then some people are like, you get a whole new body and a whole new mind, and it's like, well, that's existential dread. The whole point of assuaging the fear of the afterlife is that the person, as they know themselves, and they get to keep going on. It's like, oh well, no matter what, we're just gonna get rid of this bit of trash and whole new thing.
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to say this, at least in the eyes of a Catholic. No one's guaranteed heaven. We're guaranteed paradise. Heaven is reserved for God and his angels, not for human beings. So this whole idea of we're all going to be, tractor beamed into heaven is not. It's antithetical to Christian or to Catholic doctrine. So I don't think you got to worry about the rapture.
Yeah, I don't see anywhere in the scripture that we're allowed heaven, and I don't see in the scripture where God is like, don't forget that burning place. I'm going to send all those people who don't know about me. You know?
Because hell, as we understand it, at least in a modern era, the modern understanding of hell didn't exist until, gosh, I don't know, like the 11th century.
Yeah.
My date could be a little off on that.
No, you're not. It's the other part of it's like the first slave roundup from that brutal Rome era. And
Well,
the integration of their faith into the pagan faith is to um basically integrate it. And you can. As long as you're in that region, you can always integrate the Christian doctrine into any of those those original forms. So it was actually very easy to establish the first seven churches because he was right. In Corinthians, they look for signs and they look for wisdom. And it's not just the Jews, and it's not just the Greeks, but it was many of those cultures and traditions over time. And I speak to Africans today. And the missionaries were given the missive to not take it from them, but to integrate it in. So all of these systems, Catholicism has given its ability to become a chameleon, an overlay over other faith systems because it is starting off polytheistic, then moves to henotheistic, and in the monotheistic format, it still doesn't denounce other gods. And it's always allowed other people to integrate their faiths, which is how we get hell and Hades and Tartarus and death and the horses of the apocalypse. This is a an overlay.
Well,
It'll
not
work,
only
but it's still an overlay.
not only that, but Dante's Inferno heavily inspired the modern theology behind hell.
Yep.
A lot of people understand hell to be the equivalent of Dante's Inferno, which it was used as a scare tactic to get people to buy indulgences. And I'm a Catholic, so I understand that the church has done some really crappy things, but I mean, if no one else is going to be honest, then I will.
No, there are many. There are many Christians that are honest, but the only ones that can be completely honest about it are the ones that have actually read the scriptures and looked into the histories, because essentially we are correct, are we not? This scripture is actually showing you a level of the stories. It's giving you how they interpreted their histories, blah blah blah, yakety schmackety. But throughout each book, you do see the moral structure of the society within it. So, yeah.
Which is lecture number 3 in the class that I teach. So.
Oh, we'll stop sassing me.
Yeah, I teach Johannine and Pauline literature. Johannine literature is the earliest dated school of thought that we have for Christianity, and it started out as Gnostic mysticism rather than the Christianity we know today.
Got you. I like it because Real had me on that goose chase because I happened to ask how many Yahwehs were there. And here we are, almost a year later. And I'm happy that I still have my mental capacity. Not I'm not gonna lie. I almost lost it there. But between understanding Paul's doctrines and John's writings and looking into the book of Ecclesiasticus, it was actually a lot of fun. Hold on one, guys. You guys stop talking? I'm here. I'm here. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, you said one sec.
All right, we have 104 people in here. Um, whew, sorry, I had to run through. Uh, do I have any Christians that want to come up? Give me 1 second. I also have something else to give. I'm gonna change up my thing in a.
Father Mark, quick question while she's away. Good morning.
Good morning.
You mentioned Dante's Inferno, right? Is there any correlation with Dante's Inferno and, what Saint Augustine actually comes up with? Specifically about hell being, an eternal place of torment in the City of God's book 20 to 22.
I'd have to actually go read it. But I'm sure there is some kind of correlation.
I see. And do you know anything about that development by Saint Augustine?
I don't. My theologians weren't my favorite topic, so
I,
I focused more in scripture than I did theology. But I have a couple of St. Augustine's books, so I'll have to go and actually read them.
okay.
All right, guys. This is my debate today. We are doing If God is Love, Why Hell? Give me 1 second. I have to get one more thing because there is change on the floor. You know what? Fuck it. That is a lot of sitting like a monkey at the fire. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. My legs are not in the mood. My back is not in the mood. I am not in the mood to bend. That's why, as an older woman, I have decided to do this one thing. I make piles. I sweep my house and I make a pile so somebody else can put that into the garbage. It's laziness, I know. But it saves me having to bend over and sound like a dying manatee. So, this is the debate platform. You get to debate me. And if God is love, why hell? I know I'm not normally live on Mondays. So if you guys want to help push me out into that algorithm, hey, Dugald. Father Mark, thank you so much. For hanging out with me and answering that question because I really didn't want to breastfeed, Father Mark.
So let me help you.
I really didn't want to. I didn't want to breastfeed. I don't want to breastfeed, Father Mark.
I don't either. So we're both on the same boat there.
I don't want to breastfeed. That's all I want to do is not.
Father Mark, it's honest statements like those. Why other Christians would say that Catholics are not Christians.
Well, considering only 5% of the clergy worldwide are educated, how can you be educated and not be honest? Because then it's just dishonest academics. And as a teacher, as someone who educates other people in a degree program, I hate dishonesty. One of our very first students after our seminary opened cheated on an entrance exam. It wasn't even like for a grade or anything. It was insane. So, yeah, I don't have a tolerance for academic dishonesty.
I don't think anybody should have a tolerance for academic dishonesty because I don't have a patience threshold for dishonesty. Like I have a nasty way of looking at things. Like a few ago, I think it was 2 lives ago that I did. Um, I am in a debate forum and we're discussing one thing, and someone comes up and wants to discuss. I'm an atheist. When this weekend? We're on Sunday. This was yesterday. We're on Sunday. What do you mean this weekend? Oh, something happened and I'm questioning. Get out of here. And people are like, well, she's in a safe space. No, you're not.
Questioning
There's a
atheists.
dishonest element to what she was doing with me.
Like I as a priest question things all the time. That doesn't make me an atheist.
Exactly.
So questioning your beliefs is not a bad thing.
Nope.
And I tell people, deconstruction, people are, all of the atheists are trying to get Christians to deconstruct. Yeah, they are, and maybe some atheists don't have good intention, but deconstruction isn't a bad thing. We're actually taught to deconstruct in seminary. I mean, you've met my mentor, my archbishop, so who doesn't put up with any of the BS either. Huh?
Our archbishop.
Oh, my apologies, Fluff.
Right. Like your our pater, it's our rabbi, it's our major archbishop. Sorry. If you're gonna threaten me with heaven, then it's our major archbishop. Because he's threatening me with heaven too.
Oh, we're good at that.
Yeah, I wish you guys would stop. And I may believe in somebody's ability to pray over my intestines to keep me from being constipated as a thing. By the way, because since that guy was worried about my morning ablutions, I have been regular since. I think he prayed on my behalf. You tried to bless the rains over my garden, and my son's garden is flourishing. So I want you guys to do me a favor. Pray that I never have, hold on one second. Hold on. Oh, I'm here. Oh my God. Guys, we in the, hey Jag. Hold on. And I have a MAGA whisperer. Father Mark, I don't know if you're up for this.
I have a rebuttal really quick for Father Mark taking us to heaven. Is that okay, Fluff?
Yeah, what's up?
Our moms didn't sign the permission slip, so we can't go. We have to stay.
I don't have a good rebuttal for that.
Yeah, our moms didn't sign the permission slip, so we have to stay, sadly. Maybe next time.
Maybe the next rapture.
NB, are you with me on purpose? I don't think NB's up here on purpose. Nope. They're not with me on purpose.
Fluff, while we're waiting on a Christian, could you read something for me, please?
I am not getting out of this bed.
And
I
you
have my
don't have.
Bible in front of me if you need me to read it real.
If it has to stay for the algorithm's purpose on topic. That's why I've been staying on hell and these aspects. I need my algorithm on Monday to stay exactly aligned to the topic, or else I'll lose my position in the algorithm and it won't get pushed out into it.
Oh, okay.
The other thing that happened yesterday, and I know, okay, Father Mark, and I know I have to readjust my bio. People are or taking advantage of the word deconstruction, and it is beginning to piss me off.
Is it because you're starting to see that they're wanting just you to teach them these things instead of actually having a discussion about it?
No, veering from my original format is, I think, giving people the misconstrued idea that I am open to things that I'm not in the mood for. And when I say keep your personal off my panel, no one believes that applies to me.
No, yeah, I've noticed that, and it's very frustrating.
Ballet, are you with me on purpose? Ballet, ballet. I don't think Polly's with me on purpose. And I think Polly.
Hi, Fluff. Hi, Fluff. No, I was not with you on purpose. I was getting off the bus. I'm so sorry.
It's all right, Polly love. I'll go ahead and put you down.
Sorry. Hello, Father.
Felix, are you with me on purpose? Hey, Gaslight, are you with me on? Nope, Felix isn't with me on purpose.
So, quick question, Fluff, just for clarity, just to ensure that we're on the same page, right? You're saying that for the algorithm, if you have a topic up, in order to stay in the algorithm, we have to talk about consistently what the prompt is and can't veer away from that. Is that correct?
We have to stay within the Christian narrative. And oftentimes we can't veer off, because if we do veer, especially in the beginning, like if you notice, I like to leave it for the end because it doesn't have an effect on the algorithm then for me. But in the very beginning, if we are already starting off as a bullshit chit chat panel, it's literally fucking costing me, and it's been costing me for a fucking month.
No, what I'm saying, if we're talking about things pertaining to Christianity, right?
Mm.
And we focus on one topic, in specifically hell, as what you're discussing now. If we're still within Christianity and we're not talk about hell, does it affect the algorithm, or do we have to stay on the topic of hell for the duration of the life? That's what I'm asking.
Okay, so when the AI gives me an update on what my live is about,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I've gotten updates about my live being about makeup, my live being about um, kids when it's about something else, or my live being about politics when it's about religion, or my live being about hobbies or promoting other users when it's not, because some people in the comments, especially if it's a moderator, will utilize a moment to promote in my comments.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Because what I was asking you to read was still within the Christian narrative, so I was just wondering. But okay, gotcha.
All
I
right.
think from the Christian perspective, hell would. Sorry.
Yeah, right, Ursa. We have to leave the silliness for a moment where I can afford to take the break. It
I
has
think.
had a severe negative impact on me,
Thank you,
on the
Grandpa.
panel, and in now my real life. It is having a negative effect on me. And I'm going to be completely honest. When I complain about it, I get other people's feelings over the fact that it is becoming a level of internal fucking sabotage on me. Internal.
Okay, so Fluff, honest question. Is it me? Because if it's me, I don't want to do that anymore.
It is the 4 complaints I've had. Stop being mean to my guests. Don't just drop and block. Keep it cool and chill. Stay on topic. Do not sit up on my panel and not support me. Do not sit up on my panel, opening your voices, opening your mouths, and not realizing that doing so harms me without your support of me. Do not sit in my comments and promote other hosts who do not support me. Do not come up on my panel asking me to handle someone else. Do not bring cross-panel drama to my panel. I am not here to handle your health, mental health. I am not here to fix your personal life problems. I am not here to promote your products. Not when I'm working.
Makes sense. All right. So, given that you've just started, right, and we just touch on this, not to stay on this too long for you giving clarity, now that I've, get it. Um, the earlier question that I asked you pertaining to the topic, well, not you, Father
No,
Mark.
I'm not getting out of this bed. I ain't getting out this bed. I
No,
ain't
I'm
getting
not
out this
asking
bed.
you to read anything, Fluff. That's okay.
My books, I'm looking at them. I'm looking at 4. By the way, I went looking for the book of Deuteronomy, and I could not fucking find it. And
Yeah.
sorry, guys, I want to hear it. I want to hear your issues or complaints. And I do. And I care about that very much. Please don't think I'm mad or I hate anybody or I don't want anybody in my space. You would have been told by the adjustment of your privileges if I wanted you gone. You wouldn't be here to have the conversation with me. That is the only warning. That is the only sign. And it's the only time I'm going to mention it. I will not have the final conversation and I will never give you closure. Because by the time I shut the fucking door, I have asked you more than once. I am not a second-rate citizen to you. How dare you make me beg? I cannot address your feelings until any of you, have acknowledged you have completely ignored me to the point of damaging my panel. This is everyone that I've had to fight with. Everyone. those here with me and those that stay watching me when I go live. This isn't one person. Jag, I am really that much of a fucking cunt. I would have called you out directly and spoken to you immediately when you did it because it's causing damage to me. If it was one person, I would have handled it. It is not you. It is a collective. Pay attention to the moderators that do not give me this hassle and I never have this conversation with. And I want everybody to keep in mind that when I first started, I lost a lot of support because the first thing I did was curse somebody the fuck out for bringing cross-panel drama onto my panel after I said don't do it fucking twice. If you notice, there is a large creator that doesn't fucking deal with me. And I never lost my fucking stride. I can go back to nice, and I can stay in nice. But that's only if people do not put me in an uncomfortable position where I cannot be myself in my own fucking space. And I said this 3 times already. Everybody wants too much from me, but doesn't give back. Hey, Gaslight. I got 3 spots for Christians because apparently I got 3 co-hosts. You didn't have to drop, Jag. I just need everybody to be on my team, not theirs. Everybody has to be on my team. You didn't have to drop. I didn't take your mod privileges.
Good morning, Fluff.
Good morning, Gaslight.
All I'm going to say is I hear you. And that should be enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I hear you.
Hey, Gaslight. Long time don't see, brother. How are you?
I'm doing good, real. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah. Yeah, getting into the fall season here. And, what is this? The East Coast? North, that's not Northeast. It's Mid-East Coast. And I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
Awesome. Hey, Books. Are you ready for the question, Fluff?
God damn it, but no, but go ahead.
It's in relations to the topic. I
God
asked
damn it.
Fun the question earlier.
Which one?
So the whole concept of hell being an eternal place of torment and how that was actually developed, right? Because I know them talk about Dante's Inferno, but you have Saint Augustine that actually come up with this concept from about the 4th to 5th century.
Right.
He was the one who actually made it the place of eternal torment. And then you have other church fathers who actually support that narrative that he was actually pushing, and then councils afterward that actually support as well. So I was asking if you are aware of that aspect of the whole, concept of hell being an eternal place of torment by Saint Augustine.
That's not just his, but it aligns very well with Greek mythology. It also aligns well with Egyptian mythology. Roman mythology is not so severe because Rome was too New York, so to speak, right? There's too many segregated areas. There are too many different religions, different people coming in, right? They still call hell Hades. They still call Hades Tartarus. It's a misconstruction. And it basically looks like Grunhilde, right? It's a warped manifestation of a baby because it doesn't have enough solidified formation when you look at his hell, because it has too many other hells in it, too many other worlds.
God.
Here, let's help, because I don't want anybody hating yourselves, feeling bad. You have to go back to the original format that you found me on, that we appreciated. And in that format, this was not the problem. We have to go back to the original format that made my platform what it was. It was a team effort to get there. It has to be a team effort to put it back into its place. Our realities and our real lives are shifting who we are mentally and emotionally. And it comes out here, because this is where we spend the most time socializing. There's a difference between me being a safe haven and a safe place, and a difference between me being a safe person. A safe person is me maintaining my boundaries for the sake of everyone. A safe space is too vague and too ambiguous, because it has to be safe for each individual, and each individual wants to shape this space for their comfort. And the more they snuggle into it, the more they push my limits out of the way to suit themselves. It's not one person. It is an overlaying effect. And one of the things that damages it is the cliquish nature of it, because it turns us into mean girls. And I've never been a mean girl. I was a bully to bullies. I'm not a mean girl. So it's the clash of egos, not personalities. And it can't happen here. That's not this space. Debate, discussion, deconstruction. That's what the nature of my platform is, and it has to stay that way. I don't like messy. Many of you are here as a dopamine release, because that's what you bring to this. Joy, information, community, laughter, and human comfort that cannot get lost in the fray of everything. Because my live is informational, intense, but it also helps people decompress. That's what my messages say. When my live crashes down, or when my live closes down, or it ends and I take a break, you talk to me. I hear you, I listen, I see you, and I love it. But the complaints are also there too, from the community, on the state, the degrading state of my panel. It's not just my discomfort. It is the discomfort of my audience. That is more important. And that's why the personal stays off my panel. Age limit is minimum 21. But nobody wants to come up on the panel right now. Somebody was up here, then he got muted. I looked back at the phone and he was gone.
Sorry, out of term speaking nonsense. Gotta cut it. They gotta learn patience. It's like what the fuck? Like how many millions of people on this earth and like none of y'all would like was raised properly to be patient and wait when you're addressed? Like it's like, huh? I hear people talking and it's just like, oh hey, how you doing? Hey, calm down, buddy. Calm down. Relax.
Oh shit! So you're not letting them pivot, not even from the mute button.
Not even the slightest breath. Not even the slightest motherfucking breath, okay? I even hear a little deep breath. If I even hear a hot chew, a sneeze, or a cough while one of you was talking, mute. Have a good one.
Ew.
Oh my God. Oh, you had to see the last time I was like, yeah, no, we're doing it this way. As soon as I relaxed, some dude said something. He took too long. He said something. I could hear it. I could feel the wind of Real getting to the phone to drop the dude. The moment that I said, okay, I'm relaxing up, Real's like, all right. He unbandaged his trigger finger, took it out of its sleeve, and pressed it.
Look, the dude said, you ain't gotta do shit. And we all know that, right? It's your space. What did he mean by you gotta? You gotta what?
Word. I'm with real on this one. Anything that starts with a you need, you gotta, shut the fuck up.
You need. I got
It
a
was
question.
just like other people had kind of been saying, and everybody's like, yeah, she got this, she got this. And I was like, all right, that was exhausted. You gotta listen. So, nope.
Word. Because, like, I'm sorry, I don't gotta do a goddamn thing. Who the fuck is you, buddy boy?
And I'm sitting there like, oh my God, I would have said, uh, well, I don't have to, but I didn't have to say anything. I didn't even get a chance to inhale.
What I hate when they say we must understand this, we must understand that. Like, how the hell you gonna tell me what to understand? I mean, you're not telling me to understand anything. You're telling me to agree with you.
Yep.
That's all you're telling me. Why do you say we must understand? Does that make it sound better than listen to me?
Somebody was watching a lot of TV because only arrogant asshole. What we must understand is
It's
You wanted to
crazy.
ask them sometimes, like, motherfucker, do you even understand this shit? Like, the fuck is you talking about?
We must understand. Like, no, we don't.
and then they're like, well, you gotta understand when we talking about God, we ain't talking about a man-made God. We're talking about the spirit.
Which leads to my question. I've heard this 3 times yesterday, and I just been pondering, what is a glorified body? What is a glorified body? Can somebody please tell me what a glorified body is?
From the weird, Christian paradigm, I would assume, if I'm going to think like a Christian here, it's a body with breasts and asses.
There you go. Because I was gonna say just a piece of meat.
I mean, they said he said we're gonna have
Right.
glorified
See?
bodies
A
in
glorified
heaven.
body sounds like Megan Thee Stallion. That's a
Yeah,
glorified body.
And I wouldn't say all that.
What is it natural?
Natural, but I've seen better.
Look, stop sassing us, okay? So you have a different glorified body than Megan.
I
Come
mean,
on,
does
man.
it include a
Forget
BBL? I mean, what is it? What is it? I mean,
it. Damn, that was a low blow.
is that part
What?
of the glorification? Everybody in heaven got a BBL.
Fluff, what do you mean by Grandpa has a more glorified body than Megan Thee Stallion? What?
Word, nee, now that I processed that, what's that? Yeah, wait, hold on. What you mean by that? My ears, they didn't process too well. Hold on.
What? Megan Thee Stallion's not enough of a glorified body. You got one better.
Wait, okay, hold on. Are you saying do I have a version of a glorified
Oh
body
God, are
that's
you
better?
guys having a hard time with my New York?
Or are you saying that my body is more than hers?
Who the
We need
fuck
some
are you,
clarity on
Gandalf?
Listen, I got no big butt cheeks, okay, but I'm working on it, all right? I'm working on the butt muscles, okay? I don't know about the breast assistance now. I can't do nothing about that. I don't know what doctor gonna do about that problem, but the other side, I think I can work something out.
I just want to see a glorified. Did Jesus have a glorified body?
Yeah. You see those abs?
Okay.
You ain't know Jesus had a six pack. You ain't know my son had a 10 pack. He had the chest and everything. He had the David Hasselhoff body.
Well,
Did he get did he get that from lifting all that wood from being a carpenter?
Nah, he got that from unaliving people. He got that from actually raising people from unalivement.
You
I heard he was
better
just
hurry
a
up because I ain't gonna be hanging out with them too long.
I heard he was just a carpenter on TV.
That's what he said. His last words were, I should have been a carpenter.
Heard he had Jordans.
Because his mom was up in that crowd, like, what you doing out there, Ray? Get over here. Ray Clarence Ben Joseph. You get down here right now.
Like if Jesus' mom was black, and then if she heard about him, like just bringing people from the unalivement, she would have came outside on something. What the fuck is you doing? Like, boy, you don't stop touching that damn dead body. Leave that shit
Like,
alone.
oh, I don't know that woman. I don't know that woman. My mama's a spirit, like my daddy. It's
Damn. Then if really taking it that way, right, especially with him raising all of those bodies, was Jesus the ancient Edward Gein?
It's like, get your life.
I think Doggy in the background agree with you.
well. Oh yeah, no. Lou was just happy to see one of the little Ray Ray get down from there immediately. You're so grounded. I don't know her. Your brothers are here. I don't know them neither. These are my brothers. Don't they look just like me? We're spirits, like my daddy. So I have a question. If God is his father and the Holy Spirit is his mother, God is a spirit, Holy Spirit is a spirit.
Man,
He don't
That's
know
in
Mary or her kids.
that wouldn't be correct though, Fluff. The Holy Spirit couldn't be his mother because he actually says that the Holy Spirit is a he. So how would that work?
That's not what he says in the Dead Sea Scrolls, though. In the Dead Sea Scrolls, his mother is the Holy Spirit. That's why Mary is depicted that the way that she is. Remember, it's a pagan depiction.
And he took go fuck yourself literally, didn't he?
Hmm?
I said he took go fuck yourself literally.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah. Like yesterday, me, El Sirloin, and Jag were discussing with someone else, Deborah, the failure of his test. We were discussing the failure of his test because when we were breaking down Genesis again. Oh, Real, were you there for the Genesis breakdown?
No, I remember I was telling you that I went in support of Addy and his debate yesterday.
All right. Ah, fuck. I have to get out the bed. I don't want to do this. Here we go. You want to know something really fun about the Most High? He caters to his son. He
Oh,
caters
I
to his son.
thought you were gonna say you figured out what strain he was on.
Nope, he's catering to Yahweh. Remember 128 when he says, I want you to see something. I want you to see it. Where is it? Okay, so you know Noah found favor in the sight of the Lord, right? 9:11, 6:11 is now the earth was corrupt in God's sight, and the earth was filled with violence. And God saw that the earth was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted its ways upon the earth. And God said to Noah, I have determined to make an end of all flesh, for the earth is filled with violence because of them. Now I am going to destroy them along with the earth. Make yourself an ark of cypress wood. Make rooms in the ark and cover it, blah, 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 blah. Let's move on. Then the Lord said to Noah, go into the ark, you and all your household, for I have seen that you alone are righteous before me in this generation. Okay. 7:6. 7:7 says, then the Lord said to Noah. 7:6 is different because 7:9 says, 2 and 2, male and female, went into the ark with Noah as God had commanded Noah. 7:16 says, and those that entered, male and female of all flesh, went in as God had commanded him, and the Lord shut him in. I'll give you a second.
Let that
Yeah,
man reload.
is this where they get
What?
shut-ins from?
What happened?
Is this where they get shut-ins from?
No. God commanded him, but the Lord shut him in.
so he was talking
See
to
it?
both.
He was talking to both.
Hmm. But something you mentioned in about 7576. Can you just read 7576 again for me, please?
Wait, I'm gonna fuck your head up real quick. Are you ready?
Sure, hit it.
6:5. The Lord saw that the wickedness of humankind was great in the earth, and that every inclination of the thoughts of their hearts was only evil continually. And the Lord was sorry that he had made humankind on the earth, and it grieved him to his heart. So the Lord said, I will blot out from earth the human beings I have created, people together with animals and creeping things and birds of the air, for I am sorry that I have made them. But Noah found favor in the sight of the Lord. The next one is Noah pleases God. 6:9. These are the descendants, blah, blah, blah. Now the earth was corrupt in God's sight. Do you see? There were two gods talking to Noah, but one is the one that allows the destruction of his creation. You want me to read 7:5?
Mm-hmm.
And Noah did all that the Lord commanded him. Now, 7:1 through 5 is Noah talking to the Lord.
No, the part that you read about Noah was the only righteous. What verse was that?
Oh, give me one. That's 9, for fuck's sake. 7. Hello, help me. You are the only one that is righteous in my sight. I just read the damn thing to you, real. My brain screwed up before yours did.
Hold on, let me pull it up.
Here we go. Then the Lord said to Noah, "Go into the ark and all your household, for I have seen that you alone are righteous before me in this generation."
So if
Wait,
hold on, which verse is that again?
that's 7:1.
7:1?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 7:1. That's the verse.
And now 7:16 is the most incredible one that I love. And those that entered, male and female of all flesh, went in as God had commanded him, and the Lord shut him in.
But do you see the problem in 7:1 though?
No, I'm not seeing a single problem at all.
There is.
Nope.
If if Noah was the only one that was righteous, why was his family spared if they weren't? And why? And if they were spared and Noah was the only righteous, why did he have to flood the earth?
He didn't have to.
Right. So if
He
he
asked
spared,
his father to do it, which is why God and Yahweh are speaking to Noah. It is their combined plan. Thank you, Yolanda. It is their combined plan. Wait, God's promise to Noah, 8:20. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord and took of every clean animal and every clean bird and offered burnt offerings on the altar. And then the Lord smelled the pleasing odor. The Lord said in his heart, "I will never again curse the ground because of humankind, for the inclination of the human heart is evil from youth. Nor will I ever again destroy every living creature as I have done. As long as the earth..." Sorry. "As long as the earth endures, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night shall not cease." Number 9. This is the covenant with Noah. God blessed Noah and his sons and said to them, "Are you ready? You're going to want to say, motherfucker. Be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. The fear and dread of you shall rest on every animal of the earth and on every bird of the air, on everything that creeps on the ground, and on all the fish of the sea. Into your hand they are delivered. Every moving thing that lives shall be food for you. And just as I gave you the green plants, I give you everything. Only you shall not eat flesh with its life, that is, its blood. For your own lifeblood I will surely require a reckoning. From every animal I will require it, and from human beings. Each one for the blood of another I will require a reckoning for human life. Whoever sheds the blood of a human, by a human shall that person's blood be shed. For in his own image God made humankind. And you, be fruitful and multiply, abound on the earth, and multiply in it." Then God said to Noah and to his sons with me, "As for me, I am establishing my covenant with you and your descendants after you, and with every living creature that is with you, the birds, domestic animals, and every animal of the earth with you, as many as come out of the ark. I establish my covenant with you that never again shall all flesh be cut off by the waters of a flood, and never again shall there be a flood to destroy the earth." God said, "This is the sign of the covenant that I make between me and you and every living creature that is with you for all future generations. I have set my bow on the clouds, and it shall be a sign of the covenant between me and the earth. When I bring clouds over the earth, and the bow is seen in the clouds, I will remember my covenant that is between me and you, and every living creature of all flesh. And the water shall never again become a flood to destroy all flesh. When the bow is in the clouds, I will see it and remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is on the earth. God said to Noah, "This is the sign of the covenant that I have established between me and all flesh that is on the earth." Did you fucking see it?
Mm-hmm. That exposes Yahweh.
No, it doesn't. It exposes El as a loving father who has never chastised his son vehemently.
Yeah, but how does it not expose Yahweh though? Whose creation was actually flooded? Yahweh or hell? Hell.
Yahweh already exposed himself. And here is the other thing. Yahweh seems to be the favorite child in this story. Remember, Yahweh still has his people. His people. Which means it looks like El lied to Yahweh. And remember, Moses wasn't El's people. Morning, Vicky. This dang old phone.
Just wanted to say the synchronization in that situation just now was pretty cool. Don't know who the other person was, but that synchronization from the mute to the drop piece, that was pretty quick. That was pretty smooth.
What happened?
Friendly came up to the panel, and they had a lot of room going on in the background, and clearly, assuming that they didn't know they came up, muted them just in case they did come up on purpose. But the instant drop after that was like what the synchronization was so. You're good, Vicky. Accidents happen. This dang phone.
From where? I'm not hungry. Is she gonna hate me for that? She might. She might hate me? Ask her if she can get me an apple fritter instead. I don't trust not. Okay, look. He left me. But I really don't trust eggs that I don't make. I don't trust eggs I don't make. Nobody knows how to make my bacon right. It ain't a real bagel. Like, who wants to live like that? All right, I'm going to try one more, guys. Are you ready? Because the Christians are not coming up. I got 120 people in here, not a single debater. So hold on. 1 second. They ain't still in church. right? If you ask for scrambled, you get an omelet. They're like, if you use your fork and mash that up a little bit, it's exactly what we intended. Or when I ask for scrambled eggs, they're like, hey, you want that really yolky and runny, right?
Yep.
Okay. Fluffy scrambled eggs is nom nom. Still in church. 10 a.m. Still in church from yesterday. God damn. It's like one of the strangest things ever, isn't it?
They like serving false gods. I think today they're worshiping Christopher Columbus.
Oh, shit. Today's Columbus Day?
Yes.
Oh, happy Justice for the Indigenous People Day. I was on a panel yesterday, and we were talking to a guy that honestly made Bash crash out. Of course, we got into what's the difference between a slavery and marriage. We went over is it Deuteronomy 21? And we ran through the instructions on what to do with a captive that you want to marry. And he's like, yeah, but if you see the word is wife. I think everybody wanted to swan dive at that particular moment.
That was your line?
It wasn't my life. Whose life was that?
I don't even know.
Was it Xena? I don't know. But I do know you're talking about the humbling part really messed me up.
Wait a second. Who? Books, was it yours?
Wait, I'm sorry. What?
It was your live, Books, wasn't it?
Shit. Oh. You mean when Bash came up with Mr. What was the guy's name?
God damn it, Books, it was your live.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It definitely was mine. God,
Somebody's on cloud nine.
I haven't even reached that cloud yet. That's the crazy part. I'm sober than a motherfucker.
Oh, like he's like, whose life is it? I'm like, wait, stop! It was yours. Yeah, he actually
Oh.
was alive on that note, and it took me a second to realize that it really pissed him off. And I'm like, oh, that's what he's talking about. But now he leads me to another question, and this one's going to come into this topic. Real, does God ever judge outside of a tribe of Israel?
Not that I'm aware of.
I mean, in order to judge, you have to be subject to the law. So I can't see him honestly judging someone when they're not subject to his laws.
Yeah, and even if he did, that would be a contradictory to his own verses that literally says those who are in the law will be judged, and those who are not under the law will be judged separately. That would be a contradiction to his own words, even if he did judge outside of the Israelites.
Well, that's not his words. Those are the words of Paul.
Right.
Right. So that's my gripe right there. You know what I mean?
It's like even when he talks about the said outsiders, he's still referring to his own people. So it's like even outside, he's still talking with inside.
Do you know what's really pissing me off? I go to steal my husband's clothes. I wear them for like 5 seconds. I'm like, yeah, I like that shirt. I'm going to put it down. I'm going to wear it tomorrow. And then he comes and steals it. But he only steals what I planned on stealing from him.
He can't steal something that actually belongs to him, though. And yeah, what do you mean by bash crash? I've never seen that man crash.
Oh, I have.
Yeah, I have to for sure. Oh, by the way, Fluff, before you continue, your prompt, I guess, is a little bit to the it's cut off
Yeah,
on
no,
the
I
side.
can't fix that. It's
Okay,
set
gotcha.
up for the TikTok Studio one. Bass crashing is a whole damn show. Yeah, it is. It is. It's my favorite. It is my favorite.
There was a day that I actually saw him crash. And not even cry. I wouldn't even consider it crashing, but he genuinely just got very upset about the disgustingness that he was hearing from somebody on a panel to the point that
That's just crashing.
he literally started tearing up that day. I was like, nah, the first time I seen tears come out his eyes, you really pissed him the fuck off.
Oh, Bash is very honest about his emotions. Yep. Bash and Lord's crashing on the same panel. That happens. They'll both crash the fuck out. And then you'll hear the smile in a person's voice. Yes, you did.
Ah, Mr. Bass. Yeah.
You hit me in a think spot yesterday. That's why I just sat and listened like, "Oh, I get what you were talking about." Cuz I'm like, "Wait, doesn't he only judge Israel?" But I got what you were saying on the whole judgment aspect.
Yeah. The idea of divine justice or judgment when God judges a group, right? And now you can go and say, judgment begins in the house of God. That you get that from Hebrews 10 and like I think 29 or something like that. But whenever he casts judgment on another group of people, whenever you talk about like the horrendous things that we'll read and you're like, God commanded this, right? The answer to it is that it's judgment, right? Like this is divine justice. But how that I think that just really speaks to, how do I say, how do you know when God is judging a thing? Right? Like how do you know when God is judging a thing? And if God is judging a thing, what is social justice? Right? What would it mean to stand up for the oppressed? What would it mean to defend the defenseless?
They would consider that mercy, would they not?
But would it be mercy? Like if it is the command of God to do a thing, right? Like I use for example in Saul's case when Saul went down to fight the Amalekites. This was God's justice, and even though Saul said when he came back that he was gonna sacrifice those other people when he got back, God was mad with him, right? That's one of the reasons that he lost the throne. God was mad with him because his obedience was better than sacrifice. So even in him showing the quote unquote mercy, right?
Yeah.
Even in him showing the mercy, God was upset with him. So you don't get to pick mercy over God's judgment. Is kind of what you get out of that. Well, I mean that's what it seems like to me. I know anybody can interpret that in different ways, but it seems as though sparing their lives to be offered later on was too much mercy.
Yeah.
right? So if, but then what does it mean to be compassionate? What is compassion? What is empathy? Especially if it's not happening to you, right? If you're watching something happen to a group of people, first, you don't know if it's God's judgment or not, right? Because those people, somebody in that person's family could have done something 400 years earlier, again, using the Amalekites as an example. And God just wakes up and goes, okay, today I want them gone,
Yep.
right? Well, then how would you know as an onlooker, not the person that God spoke to, but as an onlooker to go, yep, that's God's judgment. There's no reason for me to be sad about that. Or that's not God's judgment, and this man is just insane.
No, okay, so what I'm trying to do is look through Genesis over and over and over again. One of the things that I noticed um, is like a bit of subterfuge here. God wants a thing, and the Most High gives it to him. He gives him the right to create a level of destruction, but we do see later on in the scripture that other people survived the flood. And then we do see that God separates humanity by the number of the gods, giving Yahweh his own people.
Mhm.
It's like the Most High assuages his son's jealousy and weirdness, but from one covenant with mankind to the next, God specifies that he's making a direct covenant with Noah, and that the fear of animals will be put in there, and now he can eat these animals for food. What I'm seeing is um, the Most High caters to his child here, but he's given his child the ability to do what he does best, which is war and destruction within his own people. That's why I missed what you were talking about with judgment. I was
Mm.
like, wait a second, he only judges the tribes of Israel. That's besides the point.
Well, one version of him is that way, right? But Jericho was a judgment, right? The Amalekites were a judgment. Um, as a matter of fact, Samson was a judgment,
Hmm.
right? And if you read earlier in the Samson story, when Samson said that he won the Palestinian girl, his parents were confused. And were like, well, why don't you just get one of these Israelite women? And it says, but they didn't know that God sought an occasion to wreak havoc amongst the Palestinians. Well, he was just looking for a reason to fuck up Palestinians,
Yeah.
right? But if you took away the names in that book and just told the story, I don't know if anybody in their right mind would say, "Oh, this is a good thing,"
Hmm.
right? So, but if you can't differentiate the difference between the judgments of God and the mind of a madman, what does that say about both? Yeah,
It's a madman.
what does it say about the madman, and what does it say about God?
God is a madman.
All right.
Because the those that believe in God come as representation of the God in their form.
Mhm.
Um, and we all know that your thoughts are going to shape your actions.
Mhm.
So if we put the God aside, right? Let's make the God real and substantive here. His representatives of him are war, destruction, lie, deceit, subterfuge, supremacy, and nepotism.
Yes. And if we take the substance away from him, then what we're left with is just a bunch of mad men, right? Like if God is literally just this immaterial philosophical um, concept, right? So it's just a state of mind or a state of thinking, right, or something to think about. Then it is hosted amongst madmen.
I I keep looking at things because I've only been studying this book for about a year. So I keep getting confused. Like some stories melt into another or completely contradict another for me. But something I've been noticing, and I wonder if you've seen it too. If you look deeper and deeper and deeper, the contradictions disappear.
Some of them do. Some of them are so bad that they just can't be deleted. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like I think it's Ahaziah, the king of Israel, who is his mom name is Talia, and in Kings,
Azariah?
Azariah, yeah, Azariah. His mom name is Talia, and she's
Mm-hmm.
one of Omri's granddaughters. In Kings, it says he was 20. I think he was 21 when he became king, reigned for 1 year, and then in Chronicles it says he was 42. He reigned for 1 year. That just can't go away.
It's like in Matthew and Luke. I keep asking, well, who is Joseph's daddy?
Right? Is it Heli? Is it Joseph? I mean, is it Jacob? Right?
Right. Is it Heli? Is it Jacob? Who's Joseph's daddy? And why don't we know about Mary's daddy? Who are Elijah's parents? Why don't they exist? I'm sorry, who's Moses' father?
Right. You just don't know, right? And
You
some
just
so
don't
some of
know.
these but when it comes to theology kind of seeks to harmonize, right? And that's kind of how the construction of the Tanakh is anyway, and well, I guess the whole Bible. It's like, okay, let's find a way to make this work. Like, who killed Goliath, right? Was it Elhanan? Was it David? Right? And you'll see
I think the correct story is that David slays his brother.
Elhanan slays his brother, and that's a third option, right?
Oh,
But
okay.
in one story it says David did it. In another story it says Elhanan did it. The third story is no. Elhanan killed his brother, right? Right. But the first two stories that you read, and there's a whole list of like how this happened and why it happened. One of them is that David just took credit for it. When they wrote in Kings, they just gave David credit for something he didn't do. Right? That the first one, that Elhanan actually did it. And you know that it's weird because it says Goliath, whose sword was like a weaver's something, right? Right. So it's the same guy. They're trying to say two people killed him. And then the third option comes up, goes, oh, no. Elhanan killed his brother, right? But that's just to harmonize a story, right? It's to harmonize a story because people had this tradition about Elhanan doing this, and they had a tradition about David doing it. So theology comes in to say, okay, we could just write up a third one, and it'll be fine. Not a lot of people read this anyway, right? Well, this will be the official narrative, right? So that's how theology works. So yeah, contradictions disappear. Well, it's because you're tasked with doing it. You make them disappear. It's not that they go anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Pinkbeard, because there are some of them that can't disappear, like Proverbs 26 verses 4 to 5 or 5 to 6 about you know
Answering the fool.
usually, yeah, answering a fool. I find that one to be the most ridiculous because they're right after each other, right? And also with how Saul died, did he unalive himself or was he unalived by his servant? So there are a few that, no matter how they twist it, they will never go away.
There's another king that died in like two times. He died one time in one place, and then he died a time in another place. Like, okay, all right, this is cool, right? But when you're trying to tell this story of nationalism, right? I think we forget the original purpose of these writings was not like just some like spiritual guidance to teach people how to live. It was a newspaper in a certain way,
Mm-hmm.
right? To tell people, hey, this is what's going on in Israel. This is the official narrative that you need to know. And those narratives can be useful at times and then not useful in others. And so when a narrative isn't as useful, you switch it a little bit, right? You can't take it out of people's heads, so you switch it a little bit. When you go, oh yeah, he died this way, right? Or give him a little bit more proper burial. He died this way because I need to use this king for this thing, or I need to use this this idea for this thing, and and that's not to degrade the writing, you know. That's just to say that that's just how propaganda works.
I had a issue once because I'm new to the book. And I had a couple of Christians, and Real and I were laughing about it when I asked, well, what were Jesus's last words? I've actually made up my own phrase. His last words were, "I should have been a carpenter." Um, because we have three different accounts. Technically, he never got crucified because all three eyewitnesses don't know what he said.
Well, they don't know the last thing he said, which would seem to be maybe there's somebody left before. I don't know.
They're like, well, that's the last thing he said. No one's like, no, he had one last thing.
Yeah, one more thing. No, yeah, one more thing. You know, but those kinds of things again, they evolve as the story evolves, and what I need it for. What's the message that I'm trying to get out? And then when you start to redact those things, they can get a little chunky.
Yeah.
But if we step out of the text and then look back at that and try to what's the word I'm looking for? Like absorb like a one cohesive thought. Well, it tends to lead us into this like really weird world where words just don't make sense anymore.
See, I look at it as if we break away all the other stuff, if we take the humans out of it, it really is just a story of the gods um, playing gods with a planet. It's like a new MMO RPG.
I can see that, except for the fact that like I was having a conversation last night. No, I shouldn't say except for the fact. I should say I can see that. Here is where I have a trouble saying it that way.
Okay.
I was talking to a lady last night, and she was one of those like believers that wouldn't call herself a Christian, you know, the type. Like she called herself a believer, but not necessarily a Christian. And she had problems with Christianity en masse, and even with the Bible, she didn't think of it as an errant, right? So she was, kind of playing fast and loose with how she saw the world, and she thought that was okay, and I think that's okay too, because I think we all do that to a certain degree. But the reason that I have a hard time seeing it as the gods playing is because I don't know what a god is. Like I know what humans are. I know how humans work. I have no idea what a god is because everybody's going to tell me a god is something different and that they behave in different ways and that they want different things or they do different things and so I never know, kind of routing back to looking at a judgment. Is that a God thing, or because what's a God? What do gods do?
My question is always, what the god doing?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
my god is a black woman brought me to that one, like, full stop. We keep asking that question, but I love her question. Can a god go against its own nature? And the answer is no matter what mythology we're looking at, the answer is always no. A god cannot go against its nature, or else it is not what it is. So if you have a god of love, only loving things, love in all of its forms, come out of it. If you have a god of war, war in all of its forms come out of it. A god of agriculture, all of agriculture comes out of it. A god of spring only deals with spring things, never winter. Right? So when people remove the godhood from the god and make the god human, the god loses its flavor. Right? So I always say I think it's the nature, not the characteristics first. And then the characteristics have to adhere to the nature of the thing, or else it's not.
There's a guy named Bertram, the Barely Bearable Atheist. He's on YouTube. I found him, just a small channel, but I like what he does. And he has this saying that says, gods can only do what you can imagine they can, because they don't exist, right? So they can only do what you can imagine they can. But if you can imagine the God doing something else, then all of a sudden the God can do something else. So on the one hand, she could say, well, gods have to adhere to their nature. Well, that's just the way we imagine them. Someone could imagine that they could go against their own nature, right? Someone would say, oh, that's nonsensical. But someone could imagine that to be the case. And at the point that they can imagine it to be the case, i.e., when Moses said, hey, man, the sins of the fathers will be visited upon the children's children, third or fourth generation. Ezekiel could say, I can't imagine that. I don't imagine it that way. The sins of the father will not go on to the sons, right? So the God's word is what the person imagines it to be. The God's character is what the person imagines it to be, right? And it will never be any bigger or smaller than that.
Sebastian, that really makes me wonder why don't people see that? Because it's easily seen in the Bible that that's the case. I mean, look how Paul's words goes counter to Jesus' words, and how Jesus' words goes counter to Yahweh's word, and how it's just so many variations of points of view. Why is that so overlooked in the Bible? I don't understand why people cannot see that. It's such a book of opinionation, and it does not it is not it's not there's no synchronicity in it at all. So I don't know why people can't see that.
I liken it to, I'm a songwriter. Well, I'm an artist too, but for a long time, all I did was write songs for other people. And sometimes I would write for them, and sometimes I would write with them, right? And as a songwriter, of course, unless you check the credits, you wouldn't know it was me, right? Every now and then they'd say like featuring me, or I did some backgrounds or something. But for the most part, if you didn't check the credits, you didn't know I wrote it. And that means I did a good job, right? My goal was for you not to know that I wrote it. The goal was to be as in sync with the artist that you couldn't tell us apart, right? Good songwriters, or at least I believe good songwriters, do that very well. The problem is, as a songwriter, sitting around the songwriters writing the song, I could tell you who wrote what line, right? I know who wrote. I know where your verbs and subjects disagree, right? There's a song out right now. I don't know if y'all listen to Southern soul music, but it's a song by a guy named Tonio Armani called "Help Me Find My Drawers."
No.
And it's really great.
I must have wrote that.
It's called "Help Me Find My Drawers," and it says, early Thursday morning, I was on my way to the crib. I got a message. She said, "What you doing, big head? Already knew what time it is." Wait, you already what? Knew what time it is? Wait, subject verb agreement, right? Something about that didn't work out, right? Now, as a songwriter, I hear that immediately, right? Because I have been in those rooms and I have put those kinds of sentences together, and I know exactly why he did it, because I am a songwriter, okay? A person outside of the songwriter world may not hear that, right? Because they're hearing it as a product, as a finished product, and they don't hear the construction, right? Okay, the same thing happens when you read the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
People who are from the culture that this book is from, they understand the argument, right? Because they understand that you can argue. The word Israel literally means to fight with God.
Yep.
Right? That's what it means. So when they're reading a thing, they understand, oh, this person saw it this way. They still have midrashes every day to argue about what they think a thing is, right? But the rest of us received this word by colonization. You couldn't argue it. This is what it is, right? So the culture of it is different. So it seems sacrilegious. It seems blasphemous to say, wait, that doesn't agree. No. It must agree because it must be right because this God lords over you, right? He's not in love with you like he was with Israel. This wasn't a couple's fight, right? This is a God versus puny humans to you. It was a couple's fight to them. So
I found that early on in Genesis. And it was 7:13. What you're mentioning, it threw me off. It threw me off yesterday. That I had to stop. Like I thought I was gonna make it to 7, like from Genesis 7 to Genesis 12, analyzing it, like doing like a microscopic analysis. It was 7:13 says, in the 601st year, in the first month, the first day of the month, the waters were dried up from the earth. And Noah removed the covering of the ark and looked and saw that the face of the ground was drying. In the second month, on the 27th day of the month, the earth was dry. Then God said to Noah, go out of the ark, you and your wife and your sons, and bring your sons' wives with you. It's 13. In the 601st year, in the first month, the first day of the month, the waters were dried up from the earth. That one throws me off.
why does that throw you off? Why does that throw you off?
Because it's his year, right? It's his 601st year. But it's not written correctly.
That story in particular is a really good example of what I mean when I say this is a couple's fight. If you go back, if we start back at chapter 6, this is two stories being told at the exact same time,
Yep.
right? And that because they have two separate traditions about this, you hear different voices say, do this, no, do this. He did this, no, he did this, right? And they kind of just run them consecutively. And if you concurrently, and if you take them apart, you can really just read two separate accounts.
One from El, one from Yahweh.
Yeah, and one from the priestly source, right? And you could tell the priestly source was specifically into making sure he had animals to sacrifice, right?
I saw that. Yeah, that's right there in 20.
Right.
7:20, 8:20. I'm sorry. Yeah.
But earlier it was just like, just bring me two of every animal, doesn't matter, right? And then it's like, no, we got to make sure they got sacrifice animals, tell it this way, right? And so people were using the stories to be able to come back and point to that verse and say, see, right here it says, right? But this was an ongoing argument. But when we read it, because we weren't in the room with the songwriters, we just think I already knew what time it is. Somehow that makes, and it doesn't, right? And it's not supposed to, right? It's not supposed to. It's only if I can use it that way, right? But if there were an objectively knowable God, right, then this couldn't exist. If there were an objectively knowable God, this wouldn't be possible.
Right.
Yeah.
I decided that Sundays, maybe an hour or two, because I can't read it for too long because I'm getting older and my eyes hurt. I was looking, and getting from Genesis 1 to 6 is lickety split, easy peasy. And then 6 to 9 gets complicated.
It's a weird time. 1 through 6 is kind of, well, it depends on how you look at 1 through 6. When Thinker and I, we did a little spat where we kind of went through the book of Genesis, started getting to Exodus. I don't want us to get back into it. I just been so busy running around, we hadn't had time. But we were just going to read every word of the Bible. And so when we first started, we started at Genesis 1:1, and she thought, we'll get through this in no time. Because we already know this is going to be boring. Yeah, whatever, right? Like there are a lot of things that happen in Genesis 1 and 2 and 3.
Yep, a
right,
lot.
that you have to kind of like, okay, what did I just read? Or, why does this say this way? Why is the order of creation in different ways? Why does he not touch things here and touch things there?
You saw Adam was legally blind?
Couldn't see a thing.
Couldn't see shit.
Right. right? That had to make the animals after Adam, made them before Adam, right? So it's so many things that's going on, because in the room with the writers, they're getting off different ideas. They're putting different ideas together, right? And but when we get it as a like the way that we got it again, kind of like as stepchildren, it comes cooked in a certain way that you didn't get to see the ingredients.
Right.
And so that going back to Gaslight, that's why we can't see it.
Yeah, I'm noticing so many different writing styles. But if I remove the contradiction in Genesis 2:4, then I get the nature of the God right there. Right there, lickety split, and there is no fight for the order of things. These are the generations of the heavens and the earth when they were created. In the day that the Lord God made the earth and the heavens, this is part of his job in the Elohim. When no plant of the field was yet in the earth and no herb of the field had yet sprung up, I now know it's day 3. If I
Of. Kind of. Okay. So if you go back to verse 1, right? In the beginning, God, right?
right,
The Elohim, and it depends on how you look at Elohim. This is why it all gets mushy in theology. But if you read chapter 1, you're reading Elohist takes on things, right? Just Elohist takes. A completely separate Lord God order of creation happens in chapter 2.
yep,
If we try to lay them on top of each other, we run into a problem. Well, because they're traditions about the same thing, but they aren't the same tradition.
right. This is a different Adam
Yes,
completely, and it's coming from
yes,
a different story.
yes.
But we don't have to throw him out here because the order of events is from evening to light. One thing happens, then the next.
In chapter 1,
In chapter 1. Now,
yes.
if we add that cadence to chapter 2, it doesn't miss a beat.
In the redaction, correct,
Yeah.
except for the fact that Adam is put there,
Hmm.
right, and then animals show up, right? Adam was there, and then God had to make animals. In chapter 1, animals were first, and then God made mankind.
But here's the thing. This is the magical garden. And what is Yahweh's nature? Adam is not in his image. Only in chapter,
Chapter
only
1,
on day
right,
6
right,
do they get made in the image.
right.
And then if you see the story of Noah, he cements that it was made in his image. So the first set were not. Adam, that first Adam was not. This is how I'm using the cadence. We just mess it up if you want to.
Okay.
How I'm using the cadence is Adam was placed to maintain the magical garden because Yahweh cannot do his job without an aspect of creation. Blood, sinew, bone, which is why Eve is an upgrade. But the animals were never found faulted. And the wisest of the creations in the garden was the serpent. So the most likely assumption I come to is the animals are God's part. He makes animals with no flaw, makes humans with one.
As a theology, I can't argue it. As a I don't know how to say this. The person redacting these stories, or the redactors that redact these stories, probably didn't see it that way.
Right?
I I could see how you're drawing that though, like for sure. Um, and that's the thing about a theology is every person is kind of left with whatever base of knowledge that they have, and that's going to be limited because we aren't the authors and we aren't the redactors and we don't, right, there's a lot of things that we don't have, but just like looking at the text to the best criticism that we can give it. And every person is going to be further along or not as far along in what their knowledge base may be, what they will accept, what they will negotiate, and thus springs forth a theology, right? That's where you get a theology from, right? And
Right.
so
I just, from the argument of silence, nothing is ever made in Yahweh's image.
in Yahweh's image, I can see that.
Correct. Yeah, so it's, if I never see any the Lord's image, then I have no reason to believe that Yahweh, like the serpent, is human form, like the serpent was not snake form before the fruit.
Say that last sentence one more time. You have no reason to believe what now?
I have no reason to believe that Yahweh has human form, much like we now see that the serpent had a different form before the snake. And if we utilize the Gnostic overlay of Genesis 1 and tie it into the book of Revelation, it does say that Yahweh's form is a beast.
Again, yeah. Once you get into the theologicals of it, it could say anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It could say anything. But I don't see anything in Yahweh's image to describe human.
Not in Genesis for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So if I'm only in Genesis. I don't see his form being human. I see the God saying, "Let us make them in our image and in our likeness." But the likeness is what's not inside of Adam when Yahweh makes him.
I can see that.
That's why I get the cadence, and I just use the cadence as the overlay from 1 to 2, and it makes 3 easy to read. That's why I say it's easy peasy lickety split, because it doesn't take as much time to get from 1 to 4 as it does to get from 7 to 9. 7 to 9, like my eyes were like, one eye was just rolling because it requires so much running back to the previous chapter and the previous chapter and the previous chapter to try to see what I'm saying in this one sentence. It really does get harder. But for that one, if with 1 and 2 and 3, if I leave the cadence exactly the same, I lose all contradiction if I add the logical flaw of the argument from silence.
Okay.
That's how I use it. Sorry, go ahead.
No. I think this is a grand example of just how theologies are formed. Right. We make the negotiations, we move the pieces that we need. And this is the same thing that would happen to a redactor, right?
Mhm.
A redactor's taking these traditions and they're going, okay, if I just move this here, then this makes more sense. Or if I just, again, using a Noah story, if I just put this part here, this can tell a pretty cohesive story, right? And I don't have to piss off the priestly source. I don't have to piss off the Deuteronomic source, right? This kind of goes together,
Mhm.
right? Whether or not that is, what's the word I'm looking for? Objectively true, right? A lot of it can't be objectively true.
Yeah.
But, hey, for theological purposes, I can explain this away.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like if I add the Book of Jubilees to it, I can completely change the narrative.
Absolutely. Or the book of Joshua,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or hell, even the book of Enoch. Like for every reflective text that you get, right, you're kind of looking into how they saw it, right? Like how that person or those redactors or, those editors may have seen those things. Kind of like when you read over, I think it's in Peter where it's like, oh yeah, Noah was a preacher of righteousness. It's like, well, where'd you get that from?
No, I
Yeah,
never did.
right. Well, where'd you get that from? Right. But that's how that person saw that. Right. And
Yeah.
and then that becomes your everyday common Sunday sermon that Noah preached for 120 years. Where'd you get that from? Right. But they're taking these reflective texts and then kind of seeing it in a way. Right. And then they tell you the way that they saw it. And then that kind of becomes pseudo canon.
That's the other bit. Like, cause I read the book of Ecclesiasticus, and now when I use the overlay of that for the Holy Spirit, the narrative completely changes. Even the book of Genesis completely changes. Now it looks like Yahweh is having a battle between the goddess of life and the goddess of wisdom. If you add the book, he's having that battle with them. If you take it out and look at this way, L is favoring his son and catering to what he wants. Like it becomes so many different narratives. And people are like, what's the true message of the Bible? It could not possibly exist.
Couldn't. It literally couldn't, because every individual writer, every individual redactor, every individual editor, right, has a time frame that they're writing, a mind frame that they're writing from, a rhetorical goal, a theological standpoint, a socio-political place, right? I often talk about this. I've done this a couple times where I talk about, like, if you take CCM worship music and lay it next to just like traditional gospel music, other than the fact that they use the same names, you wouldn't derive the same gods from them, right?
Right.
Because traditional gospel music is very urgent and it's very, I'm in need, and it comes from a socio-political place. Whereas CCM music comes from the exact opposite social political place. They have time to like drift into the seas and the waters with Jesus and guide me. And, it's there's a lot more time and contentment, right? Although they're talking about the same tradition of a God, right? That tradition shows itself in the arts in completely different ways. And the same thing is true when when the scriptures are being written.
Yeah. And I like that. Some people were like, "Oh, do you know what the artist meant?" It's really not for me. Sometimes they'll tell you what they meant by their song. But other times it's really meant to be silly, like Blues Traveler's hook. The entire lyrics is just to keep you distracted with a really good tune.
Sometimes that's all you need.
That's
Right.
all you need. Because the hook will bring you back.
Yeah. Or come together, right? Like the Beatles tune, Come Together. Like, you could try to decipher what that means. You could. Or you could just go, I like the song. Right?
Yep.
I like the idea of coming together. But what's coming together? We don't know. It doesn't matter. We don't know.
And over you, that's the crazy part. Why they coming over you?
I don't know.
That's not good.
Could be. We don't know. We don't know, guys.
I mean, together. I mean, a lot of people are coming over you. I mean, really?
Hey, it
I mean,
depends on what
I
kind
don't
of
know,
party you have it, guys. Listen, bro.
bro.
I don't yuck nobody's yum. That's not my job, bro.
I have a question. Does it make you a little odd when you go to someone's wedding and their wedding songs are the wrong ones?
Pretty Wings, it gets me every time.
Or You're Beautiful by James Blunt?
And you're like, oh, well, all right.
It's like, well, I guess he saw her on a train, got a little obsessed, and here we are, ladies and gentlemen. The bride and groom.
Weird.
Sting is Every Breath You Take, and everybody's like, I love it.
Stalker.
Yeah. Bonnie, whatever her name, Totally Eclipse of the Heart. That's a high school, ladies and gentlemen. That's not a good song.
Weird times at Ridgemont High. Weird times.
You guys are actually trying to take me out because you only say your one-liners when I'm either ingesting or inhaling. Something that should not get caught.
Sorry about that.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that, Bash, because I was actually getting a little nervous that maybe I was getting a little crazy on how I was looking at this book, and it's like there are so many different things that I can see here.
Yes. I think the what am I trying to say here? It's hard to teach things out here because there's so many like rudimentary things that a person has to accept, reject, understand, learn, unlearn, to even say, okay, this is two gods, right? Like there are so many rudimentary things that I would have to teach a person, and they would have to understand in order to even have this discussion about, who Yahweh is versus who Elohim is, who the Most High is versus, right? That there's so many discussions that need to be had there, and the most I don't know, like the most powerful part of a religion, especially the way we received it through colonization, is that you don't question the basics. Which is why when I ask people, "How do you know this is the word of God?" I never get an answer,
Me neither.
because you just know it is. This is what it has to be, and you never question. Well, how do you know that? Like, what made you come to understand it? So, if you can't question the basics of a thing, sometimes it's hard to even get to a point where it's like, oh, well, can you see it this way? No, I can't see it that way, because this must be this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I was doing all this overlooking and overlooking and overthinking. And my God, as a black woman, just said, "Can a God go against his nature?" And everything just went full break. And I backed up, turned around, and applied that already known logic from other mythologies to this one. And that's when I noticed they're talking to so many gods. There goes the Baal cycle.
Dare I say that no two people talk to the same God?
No. One person's never talking to the same God.
Yep, no two people have ever talked to the same God ever in the history of gods.
No.
Bash, I was on that live last night with you, and it was amazing how I never heard anybody like her just be so open about how she builds her own God, how she creates her own God, and still believes in the God that she is admitting that she creates. I just never heard someone speak about it so freely, you know?
That's what I enjoyed about. I enjoyed that, and I think she was really used to people being combative with her about that. And I'm like, no, I don't want to argue with you about it. I just want to understand. I want to make sure I'm understanding what you're saying. You're saying that you made this God and you worship it, and that's okay. Like, but at least you're saying you made it, right? Like you needed something. I'm okay with that.
Welcome to the Build a God factory.
Yeah, like build a God factory. You put it together yourself, and she likes part of the Bible, so she borrows like the gender of God from the Bible. She might borrow little pieces of this and that from there, but then she borrows some of it from just what she needs at the time, and right, like, which is fine, which is fine. A lot of people would say, "Hey, you can't do that," right? But it's because they come from a different tradition, right? So I kind of like the rebellion in it. Like, I'll just make my own. They made theirs, I can make mine. I kind of like that.
In witch talk, what they would call that is a chaos magician, a person that takes from all pantheons and says, "I work with these gods," or "I'll work with this god," or "My god is spirit," right? And I get a little confused. Like, you have patience to be inquisitive about it. I would have probably climbed up the bleachers on someone's head just to tape her mouth closed with duct tape, because I call it cultural appropriation. I look at all religions as previous cults of worship per people per region. So when people are taking a mythology from someone else and it's not even part of their lineage, all I see is the results of colonization and cultural appropriation, and never have much patience for it. And like I said, I'm gonna learn some patience. I'm gonna get me some patience. I have to buy me some.
Her specifically, I liked her version of it. One, she was a black woman. And like once having a bunch of things thrust on you, just being a black woman, you like, okay, she's swimming her way through it, right? Like she's swimming her way through it, and this is where she's made it so far, and I'm proud of her, right? Like the and the fact that she was rejecting so many things that had been put on her, right? She has a inquisitiveness about the divine, which I think is, again, but I really liked how honest she was about saying, hey, I'm making this up. That like this is to me what I'll make it be. And self-determination is, I love that. But it can be difficult to talk about it in an objective sense because she's already said, hey, this is just something I'm making up. You won't find this anywhere. It's just in me. Okay. But she didn't feel like she had to agree with anybody's idea about God. And I think that's cool, right? Because Ezekiel, and I mean, you got to think the law of Moses was like the thing, like what Moses said was the deal. And Ezekiel said Moses was wrong. That's just not true. Shout out to Ezekiel, right? Like, no, Moses, that's not how that works, right? Like God is not punishing people for the sins of their fathers. And he went, goes to this whole diatribe about it and I know you thinking that they supposed to be, no, they're not, right? You shouldn't say that. God told me don't say that ever again, right? Because that's just how Ezekiel saw it. He didn't see God being that way, right? And so I applaud people who will fight through that, right? And eventually maybe she'll come to realize, maybe, and if not, as long as she don't do no harm, I'm okay with it. But she may come to realize that no, this is something I'm making up, right? Like, and I don't necessarily need it if I have to make it up.
But Bash, what is this? I mean, I'm looking at this like a game of Jenga, right? They start taking out pieces and what is the piece that's going to make everything fall down? I don't, and this is how I look at things. I say, look, my ancestors was force fed this stuff, and I think it's kind of insulting that you can just, you can put sprinkles on the shit now today and put some whipped cream on it, and you want me to tell you that this is something good?
It's a Sunday now.
And it's a Sunday. Oh my god. It's a Sunday now. Okay, that messed me up. Okay, so it's just okay. How do you? I know I got a bunch of chaos going on around me. How do you square that, man? It's like this is crazy.
Well, if I can try to answer this, religions are magical in this regard because no two people attach to it the same way. Again, no two people even worship the same God. So I don't know if there is this one end all be all that says, and this is how you knock it down, right? Some people have to go through an immense amount of like they have to find that one place where this completely disagrees with my morals, right? And they go, this can't be it. This is not it because morally this is not right. Or then some people have to go through an intellectual thing where they go, wait, this doesn't make sense, right? And some people have to go through, I don't know, just like a distance thing where they find good atheist friends and they go, oh, well, they're not so bad, so everyone has a ton of different ways and paths to their deconstruction. I don't know if you noticed this, but like Thinker likes scripture, right? Thinker wants to talk scripture. And I love that because some people really need to talk through scripture. I like to talk about concepts, right? Because the scriptures were they were a big deal to me, but they weren't like, to me, the God thing was about the concept, right? Not necessarily about the script, right? It was what could you do with the script, right? So I talk about concepts. Some people like to talk about prophecies, right? Because that's a lot of people's like toehold is, the prophecies, right? And so every person has their own attachment to it. I'll give you an example. Gaslight, play this little game with me. Can you tell me your 3 favorite gospel songs ever?
The 3 favorite gospel songs ever
Mhm.
is Yolanda Adams. She got this what is it? The Battle Is Not Yours.
Okay.
Let's see. Fred Hammond. I forget the name of the song right now.
Remember any part of it?
Please Don't Pass Me By.
Okay.
And I like the, and this is one of those, the Jesus Be Offense. I'm just throwing out some stuff right now.
Okay. All right. Now, this is okay. Just let me tell you something. Okay. All right. What that says to me about you is, 1, that you were in church in the 90s. 2, that you view love as the stick to itness, right? It is you feel loved and you show love by being close to a person in their downtimes, right? Like, you are not a fair weather lover and you don't like fair weather lovers. You want people who are going to be around you even when it gets tough, people who will fight through a thing with you, people who don't give up on you, and you are that kind of father, friend, and lover, right? You're not easy to throw your hands up. You are, let's work this out. Let's talk through it. We can make it kind of person. And that, before I go any further, how far off am I?
You're pretty spot on. That's crazy though.
Okay. I have this little, I'll tell you where I get this from. I have this little, I don't know, I can't even really test it, but because you could be lying to me right now, but most of the time when I do that, I pretty much get it right. And my working hypothesis is, because we are making up the gods that we make up, we attach to them in a certain way. And you can only tell how they're attached by their favorite worship songs. And what makes that song come to life for them is that it is as close to the way that they view love as possible. Right? So if you tell me how you worship, I can tell you how you love, for the most part. Now, keep in mind, I can't do that scientifically, if that makes sense, right? But for the most part, that's how it works. And it's because we make those connections in ourselves. We made God that way, right? How if you take a microphone and point it directly at a speaker, you get that feedback, right? And it's because the same signal that's going out from the mic is coming into the mic, and it creates a phase, right? And that's why it's like the same thing when you get those goosebumps on your arm, or you feel that, right? It's because the same thing that you want from love is being sung back to you, and it makes a little buzz, right? It's like, ooh, yeah, that, right? That's the quote unquote Holy Spirit, right? Or at least that's my working hypothesis. But everybody's gonna have three different favorite songs, if you get what I'm saying. So everybody's making a different kind of connection there. And so in order for those things to break, it's gonna require a different way of breaking it.
And something else I noticed about myself, that because I always say that I'm going to be loving to a fault. And once I find out you fucking over me, I will torture your ass. I will. I don't have nothing else to do with you.
Yeah.
Because I already know that I have that. I mean, I think it's a good flaw to love people to a fault. But when I find out that you screwing me over, it's over. I mean, and that's how I kind of feel about this God. When I see that you screwed me over, I can burn your ass every day with a smile. with a flamethrower. I mean, I just,
Yikes!
I just have my head cocked to the side with that weird grin and flame your ass
Brian,
every
go
day.
ahead.
You want to hear something sad?
No,
I try so
quick question.
hard to not be the odd person that ruins the party, that the moment I see the tension hit the party, I know 5 different ways to get out that room. I'm already by the exit. So it's always like, I just want to be the one that gets told, oh, some shit went down yesterday, you missed it. That's me. I don't want somebody to say, well, she did it. And I don't want to have to think about what I should have said at 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, you know what? I should have said that shit. That's why I try to avoid shit to begin with. People like, you should leave the house more. No, it's a bad idea.
No, yeah, I feel you. I feel you. I'm one of those people. What started me down that little path of like asking people what their favorite song was is because I recognize that in myself I have like these favorite songs, right? And of course I love music anyway, but I got these favorite songs, and I noticed that all of my favorite songs were never about what I wanted God to do for me, but it was all about what I wanted to do for Him. And so like, being a sanctuary, and I want to be faithful, and da 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 da. And I realized that like that has been that's how I live my actual life, right? Like I don't really worry about what people do for me, right? Like, or I don't really, I don't even worry about how people treat me. I focus very heavily on how I treat them, right? And I thought, oh, well, that's interesting about me, but maybe that's just me, right? So I started asking people, and then I would guess, based on what they said, hey, do you feel like this? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay. So maybe it's not just me. And so it teaches me that our worship tends to reflect our innermost desires more than they reflect necessarily the character outside of us.
I wonder, question, and I'm not trying to be the odd man out. Could you try that on me?
Sure.
Okay, so is it
Can I just
my
ask a quick
favorite
question?
worship song?
Mm-hmm. Your 3 favorites. What were we saying?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you a quick question afterwards.
Okay.
So my 3 favorite worship songs. Okay. Mahalia Jackson's Christmas Carol, What Child Is This? Silver and Gold. I can't remember the guy that made that one.
Kirk Franklin.
Kirk Franklin. And Sister Act's Lauryn Hill's Eye on the Sparrow.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Those 3 things say this to me about you. And again, I have one by saying I could be very, very, very far off. Okay. But what that says to me is that you like a partner, and you are a partner that pays attention to small details, not the overarching, huge showy ways of love, but in the quiet spaces, the spaces in which like, oh, that person notices this thing about me. That person pays attention to the fact that this is my favorite color, my favorite coffee, and you do the same. You pay attention to you're the kind of person that writes a note that says, I know you have a test this morning, good luck. And they didn't have to tell you the test dates today. And you appreciate when people do those kinds of things for you. How far off am I?
It's small shit. I hate big shit. It's showy. It's a sign of impressing me. It's another reason why I like to approach the person that I'm interested in, because I want them to see, I saw you.
See? And these things speak to, and I didn't even have to know all the songs. I did know all 3 of those songs, but they have a theme, right? And the theme is pay attention to the little ones, right? Not the silver and gold. Pay attention to me. There's a big world, but his eyes on the sparrow, right? Like this is all speaking to like paying attention to the little small details. And so when people notice small details about you, you feel loved.
I like that.
Yeah. And anybody can do that. That's not like some magic gift I have. That, like, if you know the songs and you can find the themes, like you'll probably be right most of the time.
I couldn't have seen it. I could not have seen it. Oh. Stefanski.
Yeah, and again, I think that's because we draw to those songs that most closely align to how we see love, right? We draw to those songs that most closely align to that, and they tend to have a common theme. Like they might not sound alike, but if you pay really close attention to them, you'll notice, oh, okay, yeah, that's the theme there. Like, again, in Gaslight stuff, it was all about like, don't pass me by, don't forsake me, like, so it's like, okay, yeah, you don't want anybody to do you that way, clearly, because you keep singing it.
Oh, that was awesome. Thank you.
No problem.
Damn, now you let me want to give you my 3 favorite songs.
Go for it. Go for it. Because most of the time I'm right. I've been wrong before, but for the most part, I pretty much get them right.
But my question to you is, right, if you use this to say that is how people relate to this God, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that there is this one song that, everyone actually have an attachment to as a congregation in the church versus, their individual preferences in how they relate to the God?
There are some songs that probably do a better job than others, but I don't think that there's one. No, actually, I do. There is one song that we all love, but there are no words to it, and it's just tears. I tell this story all the time. We come here singing 2 songs that we all know that we don't know the words to, and it's laughing and crying. And those 2 songs work better than any 2 songs ever. Right. So I think the corporate part, the corporate part is like the corporate part kicks in after the initial part. So if I'm in a room full of people, let's say Silver and Gold came on. Right. And as a matter of fact, if you listen to Silver and Gold, the Kirk Franklin version, it starts out blong, 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 blong. And you can hear this lady in the back go, oh, and whatever she going through, you are now going through. Right? Because you heard the song, right? You know that song. It don't even matter what the words in this song are. You know that song. But same thing on Never Would Have Made It. Oh! Once you hear that song, okay, I know this song. Right? Yeah, so I think those are the songs that get us, that collectively move us. And then after that, it's the themes of the songs that we hear.
When I was in church, right, I used to play the drums. And as I look back now, I realized what my pastor was doing. It was all on the mood swing of the emotions, the feelings of where the congregation was. So based on where the congregation was, he will have music to be played by us as the musician. I was led by whoever was on the piano or on the organ, and they would, lead me into what to play on the drums. To make a long story short, is that I don't even get caught up in the music anymore because they play on people's emotions. And what my pastor would do was get into people's emotions to get into their pocketbooks. And I figured that out.
That's accurate and on point, right? I experienced the same in the last church that I was a part of. The pastor is a former musician, right? He was an artist before he actually, doing secular music before he went into the church. And for him, on Sundays, he would be there extra early to ensure that the engineers and all the musicians are there, and everything has to be on point. If he just listen and there's something that is off, even to the rest of us, when it sounds okay, he's like, nah, you got to tune it a little bit more, you know. And those emotional songs is what you would actually tune into, you know, songs like Ocean by Ill Songs, you know, You'll Do It Again by Elevation Worship, and those type of songs that will get people highly emotional. And that's where you will see the tongues come out. That's when you will see the tears. That's when you will see the altar actually full of people thinking that they're not worthy. So yeah, I get that bit.
I love Oceans. It's such a pretty song. There's another one, Okumbo. It's another song. It's another worship song, but it's by an African singer. Um, you know, what is it? You've never been defeated in battle. No one can overtake you. Um, and he just repeats like the same verses, but it's so pretty, right? It's like I do like worship music. I'm used to it in my house, and it's not very jumpy. But sometimes they have it in there. And I was taught not to dance to that music, but I can dance to all the other stuff. So I learned to just sit down and appreciate it. Like I like Gregorian chants and Mongolian throat singing. I like them all. It's all really pretty. The only music I can't get down with is polka. Not even when Weird Al Yankovic does it.
You know what's so wild is I have a friend that lives in Romania whose grandfather, no, his dad was like, not in a derogatory sense, but like he called himself a gypsy,
Yeah.
and he was an accordion player, right? And of course, not really understanding like the roots of polka music, just, you know, until I went to Romania and my friend stood up with this gypsy band and just grabbed an accordion. And I didn't know he played the accordion, right? He was just kind of hopping up, sitting in with a band, and he killed it, right? Like, killed it. And I was like, oh, that's what this is about, right? Like, some musics make way more sense when you see where it comes from, right? And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, yeah, okay, now I get it. I probably wouldn't listen to it in my car, but seeing this is
Right.
like, oh, yeah, okay, this makes sense. Yeah.
That's
Like
true.
I know a couple of Hungarian folk songs, right? And it has a polka-ish kind of vibe to it. But I'll listen to the more lamenting songs, right? But yeah, it's cute when you see him do it.
It may, you know, I'm from Alabama, and one thing that we do not listen to down here, if for real, is what I call oots oots music. Like the music, oots 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 oots. We don't listen to oots oots, right? Maybe not oots oots kind of people. And it did, like, I never really liked it until I moved to LA, and like it makes all the sense in the world in LA. It's like, oh, okay, this is why you like this kind of music. It's because you're all on D rugs. Okay, I get it now. Like the sunshine and the D rugs, and it makes perfect sense in that setting. But I wouldn't listen to it outside of it.
But question, think, Beard.
Mhm.
As a musician, right? Do you think? Because I tend to actually drive to this notion, right?
Mhm.
That being there live and experiencing that music experience, right? It has a greater psychological effect than if you're actually listening it over the radio,
Yes.
right? And I'll give an example of that. I remember, you know, jazz music was never something that I was a fan of, even though I'm a lover of music, until I was actually in the church and I was invited to a Jesus and Jazz concert. My whole perspective on jazz music changed after that, right? Because they
Mhm.
had a pianist there. He is the greatest pianist in Jamaica, here where I'm from, right? His name is Andre Crusher Campbell or Thompson, I think. Or I always get his last name wrong. It's either Thompson or Campbell, right? But he's a really great composer. And after listening to that guy play that night, it was just a total different experience. What is your take on that as a musician?
Two things. I meant to say this earlier about music. A worship leader is a DJ. Led worship for years, and it was my job to be a DJ, right? And what I mean by that is no different than a DJ walks into a room and they read the crowd, and it's their job to play the right song at the right time to keep the party going. Like that's what we pay them for, right? And that's why there are good DJs and not so good DJs. They're playing the same songs. It's about timing. It's about volume. It's about, taking people's heart rates up and down at a comfortable pace, right? This is how this works. Being somewhere live, they say that you learn a thing better when you can incorporate at least 3 senses, right? So if you can hear it and see it and write it, you'll probably learn it better than if you just heard it, right? The same thing is true about an emotion, right? And of course, this gets blurrier depending on how closely related you are to the person. Because if my mama called me crying, it's a little different than if somebody I don't know calls me crying. So there are some different variables there. But to hear an emotion is one thing. To see and hear an emotion is another. And then to have that wall of sound like really wrap you like it can't do in your car adds that third like tactile layer to it. And you're in a group, right? So there are lots of different variables that kind of kick in, right? Like there's this thing called 100 monkey theory. And if you can get 100 monkeys to do a thing, you can get 1,000 monkeys to do it. You can get 1,000,000 monkeys to do it, right? Sometimes you just need a big enough crowd to carry something along. And then of course volume is a big deal because you get to get into the dynamics of being loud and soft and legato, and right, there's so many different dynamics that you can use that all play on the psyche. It's no different than you put those little soundtracks in a movie, right? If you took a scary movie and put a comedy soundtrack under it, it wouldn't be scary.
Yeah, it's when preachers preach on my panel. I understand what other people feel, but I have I call it a trauma response to it. When I feel a person utilize the cadences and the intensities to push and become aggressive on an emotional level, I immediately get angry about it, because instead of it inducing a sense of warmth and comfort, it induces anxiety. Right. And I'm very much that person like, oh, he gives you butterflies in your stomach? Yeah, run.
Yeah. And
That's crazy.
that cadence is designed to produce anxiety. It's because you leave these words out, and that you leave them out there so that people can wait for you to hear the next thing that comes from your lips, right? So you do that because you're going to be talking for a while. So you got to give people that little, it's not over, right? In the TikTok world, because it's much shorter, most people talk up like this. If you go to this restaurant, then you'll find these things on the menu, right? And you do that to keep people's attention, right? That little cadence is designed just for attention keeping.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like it's a thing that I do. It drives me absolutely nuts when I hear it. But it's a control factor. Let me ask you a question. That's how I do it, and it kind of shuts people up. There's no reason for me to really say it, and there's no reason to really stop, because I'm gonna ask you a question. It's inevitable, but the whole "let me ask you a question" is like, it almost seems like we're about to come off topic, and I'm gonna give you a mental break, and then
people use these little rhetoric tools, sometimes knowingly, sometimes unknowingly, normally when you, in your conversations, if someone asks you to ask a question, they're about to get off topic, and that's their way of breaking to the next topic, right? They really didn't have no intention on asking a question. They're just getting uncomfortable where you're talking. Sometimes you use it because they've gotten so off the topic that, and they just want to run down the road, 99 miles an hour. That's like, okay, and let me ask you this real quick. And it's a way of kind of anchoring. It's a way of kind of anchoring the conversation again.
Yeah. Yeah. I hate hearing myself do it, but it does work effectively. So, and it's like some people have a very soft and relaxed demeanor. That when they begin to speak, we stop because you need to strain to listen to them. That's a lovely tactic. And other people like to do the most polite thing and apologize real quick. But I have an aggressive demeanor, so I always have to take like a more assertive approach to breaking into a dialogue. Even though I want to be a little bit nicer about it, um it sometimes feels like if I go too empathetic, I can't get them out of their feelings. So it's like I have a heavy hand on applying seasoning, so I kind of have to stay in like one dynamic or the other, or else I'll lose my way. We have a guest on the panel, Mike and Katie. Mike and Katie, are you with us on purpose?
Yeah, hello. I'm sorry, I'm nervous here.
How old are you for TikTok purposes, love?
I am soon to be 49.
Okay. We are not all of us, I think, but we are atheists. If God is love, um, Katie, why hell?
Well, I actually had a question for you to try to get to understand this. I have been told I'm agnostic, more towards the Christian side, and my 18-year-old says that she's atheist. I've been watching you for a while. And like I agree with a lot of things that you say. So I was just wondering what the difference between atheist and agnostic would be.
An atheist is a person who disbelieves or lacks belief in a god or gods. And an agnostic person is in the position that it cannot be known whether God is real or not, so you abstain from making a decision on the matter.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Welcome.
That's all I wanted to know. I was just trying to understand what the difference was.
Oh, okay.
You can be both, Miss Katie, um, because it's technically making two separate claims. It's kind of like if I asked, where is your daughter right now? You might say, I don't know, but I think she's at work, right? So you're saying I'm agnostic to where she actually is, but I hold this as a belief, right? So a person could be an agnostic theist, in other words, or like, I don't know if there is a God, but I kind of think there is. Or they could be an agnostic atheist where they go, I don't know if there's a God, but I don't really think that there is one. Or you could be a Gnostic theist and you go, I know there is a God. Or you could be a Gnostic atheist and go, I know that there isn't one. Right. And so it's kind of a measure of confidence in those particular I guess divisions. But if a person is agnostic, if a person does not know, then they are not convinced that there is a God, right? I'm not convinced that there is one. I'd like to believe that there is one. Or someone might say, I don't know that for sure, but it kind of seems like it, I guess. Or someone might go, well, I don't know that for sure, but it doesn't seem like it is. So that those people would either be Gnostic theist or Gnostic atheist, or or agnostic atheist, or whatever, like whatever those combinations may be.
Okay. Yeah, I'm one that believes that there is something. Um, I say God because it's easier for me to say God. I don't believe in the Christian way of what I have been raised and I have seen. But there are times that I do go to church, and it's because I feel I get called to hear the word, because it is something that I need to hear at the time.
Okay. Miss Katie, I want to see. I want to make sure I ask this. Thank you for sharing that with me. By the way, this question may be difficult to answer, but I'd like you to try. You say sometimes you go to church and you go because you want to hear the word. That word that you're hearing, why would that word be important to you?
I don't know how to. It's like something pulls me. Um, and I go to different churches, like different denominations, different. Like I don't go to just one particular church. Um, I believe that who a lot call God or whatever name they call him. Um, I believe he gave us all the right to. Um, I'm sorry. I have ADHD. I'm disabled, so I kind of like lose track of thought and can't think of some words. Um, give us our own will. And in all honesty, I believe the Ten Commandments is more of morals. Like I know a lot of people that don't even believe the Ten Commandments, but they have morals, and it's the same way.
True.
I wasn't raised with the Ten Commandments. My mom didn't believe in it. She was raised Catholic, and she took us in the direction of there's no God, but we still had our free will to choose what way we wanted to go. Did that explain? Like I can't explain why I go to listen, why I like just. And I'm not a regular church person. Like I haven't been in church like almost a year. There's times that it's been years since I had gone. But just there's certain times that I just get pulled into that direction, either to help somebody that's at the church or to hear what is getting said.
Katie, that's called a Christian.
So that it, well, that's why I said that I'm like more towards the Christian. Like I don't know how to. That's why I.
Think about what you just told me. What you told me. I go to church, I believe something's out there. And I go to church to hear the word. That's called a Christian.
Oh, I'm okay. Yeah, I think the Bible is more of a diary.
Why?
Like that's what I'm saying. Like that's why I'm
Why
I
would
was
you think that?
confused
No, question is why would you think that?
because it's written by other people.
So why would you consider it a diary?
That's just the way that I look at like because like if any of us go and write things down, no matter if it's talking about what somebody else has said or if we're writing down our daily lives, we're doing that. Okay, journaling, diary.
And you consider the Holy Bible a journal and a diary.
To me, that's what it's like. Yes.
And how often do you read this book?
I have not read the book in many of years.
So what inside of the book gave you the idea that it was a journal or a diary?
I don't know how to explain all of this. Like it's just the way that I think.
Well, try to answer it this way. I asked what in the Bible gave you the idea that it was a diary or a journal. Just tell me what it was in the Bible that gave you the idea that it was a diary or a journal. It's only a matter of your memory.
Well, well, that's one of my disabilities. I'm sorry. That's
If you can't remember, how is the conversation going to progress?
well. I mean,
Well,
I
you remember
wasn't.
the later
I
version of
was
the
just
statement.
asking one question.
Well,
I
are you
just
going to
wanted to
remember it
know
now
the
that you've given?
difference.
Well, are you going to remember it now that you've been given the answer, or will you go look it up to remember how to give yourself the answer when you ask?
Well, I had already explained that I am confused on everything. I did say that. Am I correct?
You were talking to us, and I do remember something along those lines.
I am trying to learn all of this. I was raised a totally different way, and I had just started learning who I am.
Totally different what from what?
Well, like I said, okay, my mom was raised Catholic. I had a nun for an aunt. Um, I have another aunt that's
I'm
Mormon.
sorry. I'm sorry. I was a little confused. Different than what? Different than whom?
Of what I am today.
Ah, that's the difference. I wouldn't know there was a difference. Katie, I'm sorry.
Well, that's why I was trying, like, religion in my past was not good. But I am going to be 49 soon, and I'm trying to learn with the new me and me being me, what way, what direction I want to go in. I'm confused at where I want to go. I'm confused at all this new language. I don't like, I don't understand this stuff. That's what I'm saying. I'm confused.
New language? What do you mean?
Well, like the guy was saying, that there's this and that.
Nuance of belief.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry, what?
it's called the nuance of belief, which is no two people believe the same thing. It's a nuance.
Right. Yeah, and that's but I'm trying to figure out where I am in, whichever. I'm not wanting to. I'm trying to learn.
Okay. Well, I actually do wish you a lot of luck on your journey. Um, and I hope that as you shape yourself and reinvent yourself into the person that you're going to be proud of and happy with, that it, doesn't cost you anything. Um, but yeah, I'm I'm glad I was able to answer your questions.
Well, thank you,
You're welcome. I'll go ahead and put you down, Katie.
thank you.
Guys, you don't have to be so quiet. I like this one though, because this one has three hells, and I don't think anybody notices. You can come up. Oh, it's Canadian Thanksgiving Day. Is that another indigenous holiday? Or is it like something else? What time is it? It's 11:50. I have not had a single Christian yet this morning. Not one believer, not even a Muslim. I mean, I have a fantastic audience. You guys have been great hanging out with me for a bit. Um, I don't want to keep you guys with me just to listen to us talk, nor do I want to just sit here and hear myself talk. Because remember, I have to re-listen to these things. I'm gonna have so much fun if you guys would like for with me clipping the lovely musical read from Bash. That was pretty. I appreciated that. I didn't know that. I always think I'm so spoiled. Anyway, um, the other thing is Happy is aware that I am not in the algorithm. So what I might do is just restart. Actually, you know what? Let me just restart. Give me 1 second. Because not even Mormon. All right, let me just restart, guys. Let me see if this works.